Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Barry. I focus on Tesla's full self-driving software and content. I'm in my Model 3 2024 Highland Edition right now. I'm going to go ahead and engage full self-driving from here, and my car should drive itself for the remainder of today's route. I am running version 14.1.4 for Tesla FSD. It just flagged me and told me to pay attention. But you can see here 14.1.4 for FSD. And the software stack type is 2025.32.8.16. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'm asking for your support. My goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So if you do enjoy this type of content and you'd like to stay up to date with full self-driving software and content, I would definitely appreciate your support. So this is my probably fourth or fifth drive now with FSD version 14. And one of the things that are most striking to me is the obstacle avoidance that I've been observing. So multiple times at this point, I've had FSD v14 identify objects in the road and make a clear effort to try and drive around it. Yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, I had an instance where there was a vinyl sheet. It was kind of like one of those construction sheets on the floor or on the ground, and FSD recognized that and went around it. There was another instance, I think it was either roadkill or potentially a couple potholes that it was trying to avoid. So it's making a very clear effort to identify objects on the road and then kind of, work its way around said objects, which is a huge leap forward with autonomy. FSD 13 didn't really do that. It did a great job with identifying speed bumps, but it did not do such a great job with identifying roadkill, potholes, construction, debris out on the road. But FSD v14 does an excellent job at that. One of the things that you guys had mentioned in my previous video, because I was raising a question and I appreciate all the feedback from the last video, was that it seems like FSD v14 somewhat reads signs, but also somewhat doesn't. And I got a couple conflicting comments. Some people said, yes, it reads signs. It can compute like construction zones and it could read signs in construction areas. But it can't really read or interpret no turn on red signs. So that's been one of the things that I've struggled with full self-driving for quite some time now, is the no turn on red. That is a consistent pattern where I have to disengage. If it's trying to turn on red with a clear no turn on red sign, that's pretty much ticket worthy decisions there. So I don't want to get involved in that. You can see FSD poor weather detected. FSD may be degraded. This is my first drive in rainy and stormy weather with FSD 14. So it's basically telling me that FSD supervised may be degraded. Wow, that was a really abrupt stop there. But it identified that yellow light and then just really pressed on the brakes there for a second. One of the things I want to try in this video is attention monitoring to see how long I can look away. I for sure know that FSD 14 has an improved experience on attention monitoring and being able to look away for much longer periods of time. I've noticed though that if you pull up your phone, the interior camera recognizes that almost immediately and starts flagging you almost immediately. But if you look away, if you look, out onto the side, or if you kind of look at the screen for a while, those types of situations seem to be much more lenient with 14 as opposed to 13. Like I said, the phone test still flags me pretty quickly, but with just looking at the screen or looking away out onto the road with nothing in my hands seems to be a little bit more lenient. So we'll test that as we drive, currently in standard mode. And speaking of the driving profiles, I learned something today that I did not know, and maybe we could test this here in a bit, but if you press and hold on the accelerator to speed up, it actually changes the profile. So in other words, if you're laying on the accelerator and you're going from 35 to 45 to 50 miles per hour, you'll notice that the car automatically switches you from standard to hurry, which is interesting. I had no idea that was even a thing. So there's multiple ways to change your driving profile now. You can do a north and south movement on this right scroll wheel. You can do an east and west or left to right movement on this right scroll wheel. I believe you could also go to software and let me see here. I thought there was an option somewhere in here to change it. Let's see, navigation. Okay, so it's telling me to please pay attention to the road. Okay, so if anybody knows any options in the UI or the user interface, let me know down in the comments below, because I thought that was baked in to the FSD experience here on the screen, outside of just using the physical control here on the dial. But I'm not seeing that. I might be missing it as I'm driving here, but I'm not seeing it anywhere under software. I'm not seeing it anywhere under navigation either. So, but yeah, I found that to be interesting. If you press and hold on the accelerator, it seems like it's going to change the profiles for you. So we'll test that here in a bit. What I'm going to do now, since we have this green light, I'm going to look away. I'll first, whoa, that was insane. What the heck was that? I hope the camera picked that up. That was such a aggressive brake check. I mean, right before we passed that white line on the intersection, I just felt it really, really lay on the brakes there. I've been seeing those brake checks definitely much more consistently. The first drive or two, I was like, what's everybody talking about? I haven't really observed these behaviors at all. And as I've been driving more and more with version 14, I've definitely noticed those brake checks, and they are very scary. They're very jolting, and it just kind of like, you know, wakes you up. It's like, what is it seeing? Anyways, let's go back to the test. I'm going to put up a timer, and I'll look at the screen, and at the time that it tells me to look up, I'll flag that. And what I want to see is if it starts dinging me at a certain point as well with that siren. So here we go. Now I'm just looking at the screen. I could still see the road in my peripherals, but I'm basically, my eyes are locked into the middle of the screen right now. The timer should be going off. So it says, please pay attention to the road. It's not dinging me yet though. Okay, there. So now I'm going to look up. That seemed pretty quick, but a part of me wonders if, because it's raining and because I have this message, does that reset the counter? Because that seemed way too fast right there. I think in the past I've had situations where I have looked away for much, much longer than that. That seemed like it was only maybe, I don't know, 10 seconds. That kind of resembles the same experience with 13. So I'm thinking that because we have rainy weather and because FSD is degraded, this is not a good test. But it actually gives me a good baseline. We got train coming up here. It gives me a good baseline on what I can expect with normal weather, with FSD not being degraded. So whatever that looks like without degradation of FSD and stormy weather, it's going to be interesting to compare. So I hear the train. It should be coming up here soon. I imagine you'll hear the train here. I imagine that once the train is passed through and the gate opens up, FSD should just go through. Now, was the experience different with trains like this on FSD version 13? If anybody can give me some data or experiences that you guys have had on train tracks with 13, is it truly different? And what I mean is, once this train is done, the gate's going to open up. I assume v14 is just going to drive right through. But didn't 13 do that as well? Or am I misremembering? Because I feel like the experience is the same as it relates to train tracks and everything. So let me know down in the comments. I'm not going to let you sit here and, I'm not going to bore you with this train. So I'll speed up this part right prior to the train passing all the way through and the gate opening up. So stick with me. All right. So the train is now passed by. We should see this gate open up here in just a second. Okay, so it's opened up and I didn't have to touch anything. It went right forward. It waited for the gate to fully open, which is good. It's probably what you should be doing. And Now we're just waiting here to make this left turn. I don't think we had a stop sign, so that's why we're just going right through. Traffic cleared, now it made that left. So that was great. Again, if you have any insight on how FSD 13 performed on train tracks in similar situations like that, let me know down in the comments below, because I want to find out if it's different, if it's better, if it's regressed potentially. I don't see any regression there because it did everything it needed to do flawlessly. One thing I did notice is that it waited a little longer than the human driver on the other side. The human driver was pretty much just pulling through the gate as the gate was about maybe 60% deployed. FSD waited for the gate to be 100% open, or 100% deployed for it to go through. So, but apart from that, the biggest thing that I am seeing, and you know, it's a common theme that a lot of other FSD customers are observing, is the brakes, the brake check. It's pretty rough, it's pretty jolting. I hope it gets better. I said in my previous videos, and I still stand by this, and I initially heard this from Chuck Cook, by the way. He put it perfectly. He says that, you know, potentially we're seeing more and more brake checks because you're having more data being fed into the processor, and less compressed, by the way. If you didn't know something, see that? Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome. 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 So we're just waiting. Wow. 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 That was amazing. Okay. That was super, super cool to see. A little bit of brake checks there. Now we're making a lane change over to the right. That was amazing. First ever emergency vehicle encounter with FSD v14. It handled it exactly like it should. Exactly. I mean, it did everything it needed to do by law, and it did it just flawlessly. That was awesome. These things excite me because we're getting so close to full like autonomy, like robotaxi style autonomy. These are very tricky things to solve for. I mean, it's so dynamic. There's really no road, no intersection is the same. No one or two areas are the same. Like, everything is so different. So it's such a hard challenge to solve for, with not just emergency vehicles, but full self-driving autonomous vehicles in general. But, you know, it's still just super cool to see how successful the Tesla AI team is doing right now with full self-driving. Really, really, really cool to see. We've been in standard mode for this drive so far. I mean, it's been really great. I haven't used sloth ever yet, just because I rarely use chill. So, you know, for me, I don't really see myself using sloth. I very, very rarely use chill. Standard's perfect. I have tried hurry. I have tried Mad Max. Those profiles seem to be a bit too much for me, mostly. I do like to use hurry on the highway, but one of the things that I can't seem to figure out is, and if anybody has any comments on this, let me know down in the comments section below. Another brake check there. When FSD tries to pull into my home, it successfully pulls into the driveway, but then it doesn't quite nail the parking inside of my garage. And I'm not sure if it's because I have like shelving and other like miscellaneous items in the garage. I feel like most people do, though. But you know, typically we have two cars in the garage, and if the second car is not there, what I've noticed is FSD will go in the middle of the garage, but then it won't pull itself forward. On the other hand, if the other vehicle is home and FSD needs to pull into the garage, it pulls on to the right side, because that's where I usually park, the right side of the garage, and my wife's car is on the left. It does the same thing. It nails the right distance between me and the car and my wife's car, but what it does not do successfully is pull forward enough. And so it kind of leaves me sticking out in the back, which prevents me from closing the garage door. Not sure why it does that, but if anybody has either solved for that problem or has that issue. Okay, so brake check there for these vinyl sheets on the ground. those brake checks are just super frustrating. I don't know if frustrating is the right word. It's just jolting. It's just jolting is what it is. It kind of, it's not very human-like unless there's a real issue, right? But a lot of times, most of the time, I've observed these brake checks when there's no issue, at least not that I can see. You can argue maybe it sees things that I don't, right? It has, like, you know, 10x, 15x the amount of eyes that I do. I have 2 eyes. This thing has, I don't know how many cameras, 10, 15 cameras. So, you know, you could argue that it maybe sees things I don't. But nonetheless, before I forget, the camera setup, I'm experimenting with different angles, and what I want to make sure is I provide you guys with the best possible viewing experience. What I'm going to try and do, if my software and the camera allows for it, is I'm going to zoom into this screen here so you guys can have a better visual on the graphics. Oh man, see, I would have went for that. I would have definitely just went through that yellow. Those two, it was being way too conservative there. But I'm going to zoom into this screen so that you guys can see, maybe overlay it to the left of where I usually am on the bottom right of my videos. So then you'll see me, POV of me, obviously the dash and everything like that. And then you'll see, hopefully, if it works, a zoomed in part of this screen so you guys can see it. So, because I've seen other content creators do it. And the only thing I don't like about it is I see like some micro shakes in there, micro movements, because when you crop a specific portion of the video in, you're going to introduce more of those micro shakes. They're going to be much more noticeable, vibrations and everything, but we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm just iterating. I want to make sure you guys have the best possible viewing experience. That degraded message has not gone away. It basically appeared just as we got into the car and started driving with FSD, and now it's pretty much been very consistent. It's not going away. Which again, I truly think that the attention monitoring is limited because it's degraded right now, which is a good comparison that I'll do on a normal day with no stormy weather and see how long I can look at the screen for, as opposed to what I can look at the screen for right now with this weather. There's that brake check again. I feel like when it does that, the cars behind me probably thinks I'm trying to, like, you know, mess with them or something. Like, it's just not good for anybody. Now, I have a parking garage as my destination in downtown Columbus, Ohio. So I'm going to see if it pulls me up to the ticket booth, and hopefully it just stops, lets me grab a ticket, gate will open, let me through. I assume that's what's going to happen here. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is the degraded message. I don't know what's limited right now, which features and functions will not work as expected with v14. There's that brake check again. Man. Yeah, I don't think I can really ever get used to that brake check, but all right, we're making a left here. Okay. Man, I don't know what it saw. I don't think there was anything in the road. It seemed like it was trying to avoid something on the road that I don't think I was able to see. But man, that those types of really quick jerky moves are not fun for me or other drivers around me. I will say with version 13, the experience driving with FSD 13 in the rain was just fine. It had no issues, no problem. I couldn't really even tell the difference between rain or shine with FSD 13. Right now with 14, alongside this degraded message, I'm also just noticing patterns of inconsistent decisions and kind of wishy-washy behavior. Definitely more brake checks and more kind of like uncertainty of what FSD is going to do. We have a no turn on red sign here, so I'm glad it's not trying to go for it. A lot of times it will still decide to turn on red, but right now it's pausing and waiting for the green light, which is awesome. Okay, we got the green light. We have this pedestrian crossing over. Hopefully we can safely let them pass by, which we did. All right. Okay, cool. Now we're moving on forward. Yeah, those brake checks are insane. Man, it's a lot more prominent right now with the rain and the stormy weather. I really dislike those brake checks. It's just dangerous. It's just dangerous for cars right behind me too. It's not great, not good at all. All right, I'm going to try to change the speeding profile here just by using the accelerator button. So let's see. So I'm in standard hurry. There we go. So it just changed, and I didn't touch the scroll wheel. Let me drop that back down though. Standard, because I don't want to be going too quick here. But confirmed to be true. You can change your profiles by using the accelerator button or accelerator pedal. If you speed up past a certain speed, it seems it'll automatically change your driving profile. I just learned about that today. I don't know if that's a thing with V13 or if it ever was a thing with V13. I'm not exactly sure, but still pretty cool to find that out and test it out and confirm for it to be true. Okay, so again, we're right around the corner from a parking garage here. I'm gonna see if it pulls me into the garage, lets me get that parking ticket, allow for the gate to open, move into the garage, find a parking spot and park. So we shall see here in a second. We just have vehicles coming up on our left side. For some reason, that flow of traffic here to the left and the right don't have stop signs. Okay, so the parking garage here is right around the corner. I mean, I think my guess is that it will pull me in. It will allow me to get the ticket and potentially even park. But we'll see here in just a second. I would like for it to pull in. The entrance is kind of around the corner. I think it might just drop us off curbside, which sucks because I do have parking garage enabled here. Oh, wait, I spoke too soon. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, we should have went down there, but just gonna see where it drops me off here. Yeah, so unfortunately didn't do what I wanted it to do, but let me see if I can quickly force it by just heading over to the pay station here. See if we can get FSD to do what I think it was supposed to do, which, I mean, I'm gonna have to pull in myself, but from here, I should be able to, well, let's see. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is press on start full self-driving. I'm gonna grab a ticket.
Please pay your ticket at a
So I grab the ticket.
returning to your vehicle.
Now it's moving forward. Now, okay, it is going to park. I was about to say, what is it going to do? Oh, wait. Is it going to park? Let's see here. Or is it just going to go all the way up to the rooftop, which I don't want, because that would be pointless. It's missing a bunch of parking spots here. But I will say I don't have a destination. As you just saw, I kind of drove up to the gate. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and disengage here because I don't need it to go all the way up to the rooftop, but I will park here myself. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, that was my first drive with FSD 14 in the rain, and it did pretty. I was about to say it did pretty well, but honestly, that was pretty rough with the brake checks. I don't know. I don't think it did as well as 13 in rainy weather. It was pretty inconsistent. The brake checks were pretty present. It wasn't as confident as it was my previous drives. So I don't know. I mean, that was kind of mid-level for me, very mid-level experience, but you know, nonetheless, I'm still glad I was able to take it out in the rain, document it, and of course share it with all of you guys. So if you do enjoy this type of content and you want to stay up to date with FSD content, news, things like that, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button down below. It really, really does help me out. I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.